guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please do subscribe. Alexa, what's the time please?
It's 8:55 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Saturday the 12th of November.
And Alexa, what's the weather like in Rochester?
Right now in Rochester, England, it's 10 degrees Celsius with mostly cloudy skies. Today's forecast is partly sunny weather, with a high of 17 degrees and a low of 9 degrees.
Alexa, would you tell me a joke please?
What do you call a sheep on a trampoline? A woolly jumper.
The old ones are the best, I suppose. Right guys, so yesterday afternoon I took Max for a walk and a helicopter was hovering above us. I don't know what sort of helicopter it was, I couldn't see. It was either a police or maybe an ambulance one, I don't know. So I came back into my flat. The post, I never know now whether there's a strike or not. Looked in my post box, there was no post yesterday at all, I had nothing. Came into my flat and just tried to relax as you do when you're by yourself. So I made myself numerous cups of coffee. I put DVDs on. I put the Adjustment Bureau on yesterday. It was a 2011 film. So it's 11 years ago, and I remember that being advertised when it first came out, the Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon in. I really enjoyed that, so I watched that because you don't realise how old DVDs are now. It's amazing. So I was watching DVDs, and I ate lunch yesterday. I've got a small lunch today, and I just, you know what you do when you're by yourself. Read, watch DVDs, watch the telly, listen to the radio, read magazines, read books, wander up and down. So yeah, what I'm doing now is switching the phone off. It's just switching it off. So if anyone wants to call me, they can leave an answer phone message. And it goes for WhatsApp as well. I'm just switching the phone off, especially at night, all through the night. It is being switched off. There's nobody real there that comes and meets me. There's nobody real that really, it's just somebody hiding behind either a laptop, a mobile phone, some sort of internet, and I wanted to meet someone genuine, and obviously that is not going to happen. So I'm just quite happy as I am. If I've got to be by myself, I've got to be by myself, and that's the end of it. I'm not wrestling with it. I'm not getting upset. It's just the way it's got to be. And for somebody that's, people have said she's mad, she's mental, and I got to the hospital the other day. I got to the hospital by myself. There was no screaming and shouting. There was no being taken off in handcuffs either. I'm not violent or a criminal. I'm just trying to prove a point here. If someone was that mentally insane and violent, they'd either be locked up in prison or they'd be in a mental institution, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be left alone to fend and look after themselves if they weren't very well. So I think I've proved my point. Years ago I had a decent job. I worked for the Queen herself in the civil service. I had a decent job for over 5 years. There was no complaints or anything like that. There was no violence. There was no mental behaviour. I held down the job. I've had 4 children. I can't say anymore. And to have 3 children and bring them up and clothe them, put nappies on them, feed them with a bottle, and then to have the last one taken away from you. And being that the last one I had, last child I had, was of a different ethnic origin, to have that child taken away does come under some suspicion to me, when they never bothered with the other 3. And people telling me that they need to show me how to make a sandwich. I'd had 3 children, and I had women of about 20 telling me, yes, we'll consider bringing your son back to you, but you need to know how to make a sandwich. One of the things you need to do, you need to come to a contact session and learn how to make a sandwich. Do you know how much of an insult that felt when I'd had 3 children and I'd cooked 3 meals a day for them? In the oven, I'd bake fairy cakes with my children. I'd bake cakes with my kids and be told when they've taken the other one away from me that I need to know how to make a sandwich. It fucked my head up. It made me cross. It wasn't right. It wasn't normal. The contact session didn't seem real. Having my child taken from me didn't seem real. So I spent a lot of time down in Kent very angry and upset with what had been done to me and my children themselves. So my last child was of a different ethnic origin, and that one was taken away from me, but they didn't bother with the other 3, they just bothered with that one, which does come under suspicion, doesn't it? Alexa, can you put LBC radio on, please?
LBC London from Global Player.
Well, it's likely to deter investment, isn't it? That's the problem that we're all facing. We're raising money going in, with stealth tax rises and tax rises of any sort. We've got to raise revenue. That deters investment as a basic principle.
Well, but that's not certainly with regards to the windfall tax, which will be the huge element of funding the energy price freeze, which we know we need. Actually, the big producers aren't saying that it's going to deter investment. Indeed, they're saying that they ought to. That this is.
Not just talking about energy producers and suppliers, actually, just generally speaking. If a company gets taxed more, assuming it makes a profit, is it more or less likely to expand and take people on?
Well, that depends, of course, on that element of the equation, but also a lot more things, such as their confidence in the economy, whether there is demand in the economy. We're starving demand in the economy, as we have done for a decade through low or no wage growth. So I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, but we do need to get a grip of it.
Are you a footballer, Alex?
Well, I'm not very good, but I love my football.
Well, here's an open goal. Dominic Raab and the Ministry of Justice bullying claims.
Well, I mean, here we go again. I mean, I've only read what you've read overnight, Andrew, but you know as well as I do, as someone who's worked in a number of big jobs in your time, is cowards bully their staff. People in power, historically Gavin Williamson, people in power who use that against others. Those are cowards. They shouldn't be in government. Rishi Sunak has appointed a litany of people that he knows aren't suitable for high office, but he's appointed them because he's too weak to not have them in his cabinet, and this may well be the latest iteration of that.
Yeah, it may well be, though there are just concerns at the moment, nothing concrete or definitive, it should be said. Dominic Raab of the Ministry of Justice. Good to speak with you, Alex. Will you come back sometime and we can continue our chat on various bits and bobs?
Yes, absolutely, whenever invited.
Okay, gotcha. See you tomorrow. Alex Norris MP, Shadow Minister for Living Up, Labour MP for Nottingham North. I'm so late for the news. Ill-disciplined, very poor. This is LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation, this is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 9 o'clock. After what's being called a landmark victory, Ukraine's foreign minister says the war goes on. There have been celebrations on the streets of Kherson after Russia pulls its forces out of the city. Russian expert Dr. Eleanor Beinman says it's a significant event.
The city itself was the only regional capital that Russia had managed to occupy since the war started on the 24th of February. And it was also the capital of a region which Russia claimed to have annexed. So it's one of the four.
Rishi Sunak is facing further questions about his judgment after reports emerged another cabinet minister is embroiled in bullying allegations. Former Education Secretary Gavin Williamson resigned from the government this week, vowing to clear his name. Now there are calls for an investigation into allegations surrounding the behaviour of the Justice Secretary, Dominic Raab. The US President has told world leaders to intensify their fight against climate change. Speaking at the COP27 conference, Joe Biden...
Stop. Right, guys. I didn't watch Celebrity Jungle get me out of here last night. I wanted a break from it. I'm an adult. I want to watch what I want to watch. I don't want to watch what is put on there for me to watch. I remember Boy George. My sister liked Culture Club. Amanda did. So Boy George has been going around as long as I am. He's 61. Matt Hancock is an MP. The other celebrities are much younger, and I don't really recognise Chris Moyles. I listened to on the radio. It's from the first. I think I was at Lansdowne Court when I was listening. Chris Moyles has actually sung songs. So I was listening to Chris Moyles in my flat at Lansdowne Court about 12 years ago. So some of them are old, you know, experienced actors and personalities, and some of them are like quite young, and I don't really know who they are. So I watched it the day before yesterday, and I think Matt Hancock comes across as arrogant, and I don't like it. So I've switched it off. To me, he comes off as arrogant, and I just don't like arrogant people. Like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. I don't like it. So I'm not... Boy George, yeah, I do. He's a genuine person who's, you know, has gone through things, but Matt Hancock, no. You know, we are advertising someone that had a scandal with that woman. He was cheating on his wife, and I don't think we should advertise someone that's been doing that either, to be honest. How he's got in there, I don't know. I don't know who chooses these people, but they've got, you know, I'm sure there's other people out there that would have liked to have gone on there. Yeah, you know, advertising that someone's been a useless MP and basically fiddled around when he was in Parliament cheating on his wife is not a very good thing to do, and I wouldn't advertise it myself, but there you are, that's my opinion. I'm going to have my cup of tea and I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. See you later.